Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk about martial arts. I want to present to you guys a different viewpoint, and basically the main subject is there are some people that hate on certain styles, so I want to kind of address that. All right, if a person hates on a certain style, like they hate it, probably they're coming from the way of thinking that one style is good and another style is bad. That's why they hate on the bad style. So this way of thinking is, in their mind, they believe that certain styles are better than others. So basically, to me, that is the same lines as a racist, because a racist is someone that feels that one race, human race, is superior to another human race. So therefore, you have prejudice going on, right? So with something like martial arts, then you're talking about there's a style and there's a group of practitioners, and if you feel that that style is inferior, then the whole group of practitioners, you are saying, are inferior. Yeah, so that's definitely prejudice, and if you are prejudiced like that, you're closed-minded, and in martial arts, to me, that is a no-no. You don't want to be closed-minded. You want to have a realistic mind, not a closed-off mind where you end up having thoughts that are in the fantasy realm, and it's all, you're lost in your own brain, and it's not realistic, it's not real. So you don't want to have a closed mind. You want to have an open mind, a dynamic mind, because real life is very chaotic, ever-changing. So you want a mind that can adapt and be open to different ways of thinking and stuff, right? So that's the idea. And so if you have that kind of mentality of one style is better than another, or Wing Chun sucks, or Sistema sucks, then I feel like you are prejudiced, and you're really no different than a racist. It's along the same lines of thinking. You're closed-minded. So, that probably sounds very harsh, very, very harsh, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I really feel that it is an old way of thinking, and as a human being, I wish we would go to a higher level of thinking, a more open-minded way of thinking, because to say one style sucks or to feel that one style is better than another is extremely rude, is very, very rude. So I think it kind of warrants being called prejudiced and closed-minded, because to me that's what it is. Now, I am not against having preferences, okay? That's not the same here. So, like, I look at myself, and there's just certain styles that I wasn't good at, or I went to go try it and it just didn't click for me. Like judo and wrestling, I'm not good at it, and I had bad experiences with it. One of the first martial arts that I ever experienced was actually judo over in Japan in PE class. I was forced to take it, and I was real excited because I was like, wow, I get to train martial arts, and this is free because it's part of the school, and I was all excited about it because I didn't think my parents would let me take martial arts back in the day, that they wouldn't sign me up for it. So I was like, this is the best way because it's forced. And it was a horrible experience. I had a terrible time. The teacher was extremely abusive. I remember one class, he just beat up the student in front of everybody. The student was in tears, and he was just killing the guy in front of everybody. All that did was just put everyone in fear. And that's not a good learning environment. So it was a horrible experience, like I said. That's not the fault of judo. That's the instructor's fault. That's the way he was teaching. That's the way he was holding class. And then there was kind of like a bully atmosphere in the class too. So that's all. I would blame the instructor. I would blame the teacher for sure. Wrestling, the wrestlers are extremely tough, extremely competitive, and I'm here to learn, and this guy's trying to kick my butt. It was extremely annoying. I met a lot of wrestlers when I was training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or just martial arts in general, and I was very, very annoyed by that they were just trying to, that was like, they couldn't help it. A lot of wrestlers, that was the way they learned. They just learned by going at it 100%, and to me, that really, really annoyed me. But at the same time, it made me tougher. And I got to train with some excellent wrestlers, some Division One, some really, really high level wrestlers and stuff. And it was an honor. It was great. It was great. It was rough and it was tough, but in some ways it was awesome. In other ways, the injuries and stuff, it was not cool. It was not cool. But yeah, so those are three grappling styles I just named: judo, wrestling, and by wrestling I mean freestyle and Greco-Roman, but mostly the guys that I met, in my case, just happened to be freestyle wrestlers. And then we had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Out of the three, I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a pretty long time. I had a blast with it. But the other two, I did train, like I say, with judo guys and wrestlers, but my experiences weren't all that great. And a lot of it had to do with just how competitive they were and just the way they held themselves. But all three are grappling styles, so it's kind of silly for me to be like, I don't really care for judo and wrestling. So I take it as a grain of salt, and that's what's important. It was just my own experiences at the time. Maybe if I trained in it again, it would be completely different, and I would fall in love with judo, or I would fall in love with wrestling, or it would be absolutely great. Because I've met guys that thought they were really nice guys, and they thought wrestling was the best thing in the world, and they loved it, and they just couldn't get enough of it. And they weren't the kind of guys that were just there to try to smash you and crush you and be like, you see, I'm way better than you. They weren't those kind of guys either. And I could tell they just liked the sport. They just liked the art. So I could respect that, and I could totally admire that. So it's a grain of salt. It's just a preference. Just like an opinion to me is, you have to take it very, very lightly. So, but there are people out there that take their opinions way too seriously. They take this kind of preference way too seriously, and then they end up with, I hate wrestling, I hate judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is way better. It's better because, and they start going into their details and their logic and their arguments, and it's like, oh my gosh, could you please shut up? It's just an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Why is yours better? It's not. It's not. It really isn't. So to take yourself that seriously, then that's how you become closed-minded. That's how you become prejudiced. All right? When you basically become the king and lord of your universe, and no one can correct you, no one can come in and say otherwise, you're not open to anything, that is how you end up with a closed mind. That's how you make mistakes. That's how you set yourself up for a huge fall, because you're wrong. And you're going to, like you could say, all Kung Fu people suck. And then you're just setting yourself up for that day where you meet a Kung Fu guy that could wipe the floor with you. Maybe it'll never happen. If that happens, I would actually say consider yourself lucky, because that's a chance for you to open up your mind. But if you don't, then you're going to be closed-minded for a very, very long time, perhaps the rest of your life. And that's a darn shame. You lived in a bubble, basically. So I'd rather live in a world where I could travel and see different cultures and learn from them and see the beauty in different ways and thinking that people have, and it's awesome that way. You learn and experience things, and it's great. It's great, and you don't have to rank them and say this is better, this is good, this is not. Why worry? Why worry with that? There's so much more to where they came from, and that you could see how they evolved and how they came to do things, and maybe there's other better methods, but the way, the history of how they got to that point is a lesson in itself. So I admire and respect that. It's not just about the result. It's not just about your goals. It's about respecting the way people walk their path, I think, and I think that's what's important, and to allow them to keep walking their path. And then if you can help them, if help is wanted, assist them, maybe share your 2 cents. And then when two cultures can share, that to me is beautiful. Sometimes I have experienced that, fortunately, through martial arts, and also through non-martial art ways, where I've met someone where we don't even speak the same language, so we have to communicate by other means. and it works out, and we're on the same page, and we're able to share things. To me, that is beautiful, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that real quick. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.